Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Hot Seat, a wireless design and development interview series where we talk about the latest wireless technologies, components, and design issues for the wireless design engineering community. Today we are speaking with Frank Stempskie, who has over 20 years as a communications engineer for military, aerospace, and industrial applications at Collins Radio, Rockwell, and Texas Instruments, and over 20 years in communications semiconductors and marketing and sales for Lasercom, Texas Instruments, National Semiconductor, and Advanced Micro Devices. He is the holder of patent and patent-pending designs for emergency communications and has exclusive experience in communications technologies that include antenna, fiber optics, laser diodes, and basic radios at all frequencies. Currently, Frank is the sales manager for Cermetek, where he is focusing on communication systems that monitor and control processes like growing crops, winery processing, intrusion detection, and manufacturing processes in general. Today, Frank will be discussing the iController, a unique M2M system which is equal parts sensor data collection, hardware, and cloud application. First, Frank, can you explain what the main events or trends occurring in the industry that created a need for the iController?
Well, there were various events that occurred in the industry, one of which that jumped out in a recent publication is in, what is the name of this thing? It's called the Farm Press. You see the Farm Press there? And top of that says, what's it say there? Can you read it? It says, water issues driving search for precision agricultural solutions for crops in the West. And among other things, there are a lot of people in the marketplace, such as a special version of iController, which is the Aquaman sign behind me that I'm going to talk about and focus on, since it's our biggest seller now. And the people in the agriculture industry, for example, need to monitor and control their irrigation system and other things to maximize their yields on their crops, to reduce the cost of farming, and to make it easier for them to farm. These sort of things happening in the marketplace turns out is what we're addressing with the iController, and specifically the iController version we call Aquaman.
And can you discuss the main goals of the iController? In other words, how is the iController going to help improve sensory-equipped processes?
The main goal for us with the iController, and I'm going to use Aquaman as an example again, is to provide an easy-to-use, very cost-effective means to monitor and control whatever process or whatever item that you want to control. If you want to keep track of something, if you want to monitor it, if you want to have 24/7 access to what's happening either in the farm or on your process control and commercial or municipal or industrial application, that is our goal, to enable the user, the operations manager, the grower, to look at what his process parameters are, what the data is for his sensors, and then to take action on that, and to give him what I call ease of mind. The more I think about our addressing the marketplace with our iController, we are giving people ease of mind so they can access 24 hours whatever they're trying to monitor or take care of.
Now, is the agricultural industry the only industry that you're focusing on with the iController, or are there other markets that you are trying to target with this specific product?
Even though we've been focused on most recently in the agricultural area, we have found that there are many other applications in other markets. In the industrial area, we have found that the people in bottling process and refrigeration equipment, in terms of refurbishing that equipment, they find our system very useful for monitoring the temperature and the pressure, etc., in the manufacturing process. In the commercial, or actually I guess we would call this municipal world, they're using our system to monitor sewers and lift tanks for cities to make sure that they can control the water and avoid flooding with manhole covers popping up, which could result in fines for cities, so that helps them do that. In the military, and I'm going to jump ahead to, I think, one of the questions that we want to talk about. In the military, we developed our technology along with Sandia Labs, and the technology was used actually in monitoring perimeter intrusion into military installations. So there's even military, industrial, commercial, very many other markets that we are addressing with this technology.
And what are some of the advantages of the iController over traditional monitoring systems?
Well, let me start with agricultural again. You know, in the past, to check the moisture content of the vineyard or the orchard, the guy would go out there every week or two and he'd reach down in the ground and squeeze it and see how much water is coming out there and see how much moisture it is. Now he could be sitting in the Bahamas, for that matter, and with the sensor probes that we now have and connect to our Optimum communication system up here that I've got behind me, he could be sitting in the Bahamas or Hawaii and walk out to the lobby of his hotel, and without any kind of special application, he can just log on with any browser and take a look at his water content. That's for the agricultural one. So that's a big advantage right there. There are other suppliers of communication systems to address the markets I've talked about. Most of the others that we found are either too complex to use, they're too expensive to use, they're not as easy to use, and they're not supported as well as we are. So we are replacing others in the industry for these applications because of our simplicity, our cost effectiveness, and ease of use.
And can you describe the main components of the iController and explain the technology that's behind its success?
Sure. Our intellectual property, so to speak, and the main thing that makes us different is our technology, and that is the wireless technology that we've developed over the years. Cermetek and the division that I'm going to show you in this particular magazine, I don't know if wireless system design it was previously one of your publications or not, but 8 or 10 years ago we made the cover, our ZCOM division, for our 900 megahertz wireless technology. And that's the core and the heart of our process, is that wireless technology. We've now expanded that to include the cellular technology and other wireless technologies along with that particular technology. So that is what I think makes us unique, and that's the main component, is not only the wireless 900 megahertz and the cellular wireless technology, but the interface that we provide to all the possible sensors that I've described before. Whether you're monitoring soil moisture, whether you're monitoring temperature or pressure in an industrial complex, whether you're monitoring the intrusion of people in perimeters in the military and the Homeland Security application, which we happen to be talking to right now. So those are the main technologies that we are essentially a communication company. We're not an agricultural company, we're not a security company, but we can enable all these applications with our robust, easy-to-use technology. Wireless technology is what we have. We've been in business for about 40 years using wireline modems and technology, and now we've moved over the past 10 years into the wireless technology, which is the crux of what we offer to people.
And does the iController have any limitations, and if so, what are they, and what are the plans to improve on those limitations?
Right now, we don't have a satellite communication provided. That's not hard to do. As soon as the market demands it and we see some growth in that area or need for that, then we will add satellite to it. The other thing that we're constantly improving and adding is cosmetic things to the platform, the account that we provide our customers. I might have failed to mention earlier that many of our customers like the platform. I'll put it up here, but we want to add the actual platform later into this video if we could with some clips. And it's so much easier to read, it's so much easier to use. We show it in tabular form, we show it in graphic form, we show it in dashboard form, and we can always add to this cosmetically by adding other things that make it easier for the user to understand. And we're careful about doing that because we don't want to make it too complex for the end user, but we want to add as many features and functions that make it cosmetically pleasing and easier to use.
And can you maybe provide us some insight on what consumers can look forward to, especially with Cermetek and the iController?
Markets that we were addressing, especially the agriculture and some of the municipal ones I mentioned, it looks like there's been a resurgence in demand, and we were just approached last week by a Department of Homeland Security to maybe renew the Sensormon version of the iController to be used for monitoring perimeter in critical areas. Power plants, chemical plants, military installations all need to provide more of a stealth type of monitoring rather than the obvious video cameras that are easily compromised by people that you might not want within your particular critical area.
I'd like to thank you, Frank, for joining us to discuss the iController. I'm Megan Zimba, and I'll see you guys next time in the hot seat.